Today we are going to see power transmission. In this mainly gear drive. Now let's see what is meant by power transmission. Power transmission is the movement of energy from its place of generation to a location where it is applied to perform the useful work. It is the system which can be transmitted from one place to the another place. Taking example of power transmission as suppose in a car the power is generated in engine and that power is transmitted to the wheels by taking the medium as a gears. Now let's see what is meant by gear. A gear is a component within a transmission device that transmits rotational force to another gear or a device by engaging teeth to each other. In another definition of gear, we can say as gears are used to transmit the power from one shaft to the another when the distance between the two shafts is small. The gears are called as positive drives as there is no slippage and the velocity ratio is constant. Now let's see the types of gear. The gears are broadly classified in number of types. Here it is classified as first according to the position of axis of shaft. In shaft it is parallel shaft or intersecting shaft or non-intersecting and non-parallel shaft. In parallel shaft first it is subclassified as spur gear, helical gear, rack and pinion gear. In intersecting shaft it is classified as bevel gear. And the last third one in non-intersecting and non-parallel shaft it is subclassified as worm and worm gears. Now let's see the brief classification of gears. In that first spur gear. Spur gears are the gears used when axes of two shafts are parallel to each other. The teeth of these gears are parallel to the axis of the shaft. The power transmit is from one shaft to the another which is parallel to each other. The spur gears are generally used in electric screwdrivers, oscillating sprinklers, wind alarm, washing machines and clothes dryer. In figure we can see that the two shafts are rotating in opposite direction. Shaft A is rotating in anti-clockwise direction and the gear B is rotating in clockwise direction. The gear A is the driver which drives the gear B in opposite direction, but the axis of the two gears is parallel to each other. In spur gear, it is subdivided as external spur gear and internal spur gear. The first figure shows the external spur gear, in which the two gears are having the teeth externally or the wheel which is having the teeth on its outer circumference. They are mated or meshed externally. And the second figure shows internal spur gear, in which one gear or the small gear having the teeth on its outer circumference, while the bigger gear is having the teeth in internal, in which the two gears are meshed internally, so it is called as internal spur gear. Next is helical gear. The helical gears are having teeth on its helical cut, which are cut in the angle to the face of the gear. This gradual engagement makes helical gear operate much more smoothly and quietly than the spur gear. One interesting thing of helical gear is that if the angle of the gear teeth are correct, they can be mounted on perpendicular shaft, adjusting the rotation angle by 90 degree. The teeth are in helical gear are inclined to the axis, making some angle is called as helix angle. Generally, the helix angle is 20 degree, and the angle which is made to cut the teeth is inclined to the axis of that shaft. This is the figure which shows the helical gear which are cut in inclined manner. Now let's see the another gear, herringbone gear. It is the next version or advanced version of the helical gear, or we can say that it is the double helical gear. To avoid external thrust, two helical gears of opposite hand can be mounted side by side to cancel resulting thrust. To avoid the thrust, the herringbone gears are used. Herringbone gears are mostly used on heavy machineries. The another gear is rack and pinion. Rack and pinion gears are used to convert the rotation from pinion into the linear motion of the crank, or we can say in another way that it is the special case of spur gear in which a gear is having base circle diameter is infinite. The pressure angle in this is 20 degree and the height of the tooth is nearly 2.157 times of modules. The rack and pinions is used to transmit the rotary motion into the reciprocating motion or vice versa. Another gear is bevel gear. Bevel gears are used when the direction of a shaft rotation needs to be changed. They are usually mounted on the shafts that are 90 degrees apart, but can be designed to the work at another angles as well. The teeth on the bevel gear can be straight, spiral or hypoid. The locomotives or marine application are the few examples. Another examples are like automobile, printing presses, cooling towers, power plant, steel plant, railway tracks, inspection machines, etc. This is the picture of spiral bevel gear. We can see in this picture that the intersection of two shafts is there, but they are not parallel to each other. Another gear is worm and worm gear. The picture shows the worm and worm gear, in which the horizontal is nothing but the worm and the below is the worm gear, which is in circular part having external teeth on its circumference. This is also the another type of rack and pinion which is used to transmit the rotary motion into the reciprocating motion. Worms gears are used when large gear reduction are needed. It is common for worm gear to have reduction from 20 as to 1 and even up to 300 as to 1 or greater. Many worm gears have an interesting property that no other gear set has. The worm can easily turns the gear, but the gear cannot turns the worm. Worm gears are used widely in the material handling and transportation machineries, machine tools, automobiles, etc. Now let's see the nomenclature of the spur gear. The figure shows the various nomenclatures of the spur gear, in which we can see addendum, dedundum, tooth thickness, clearance, dedundant circle, pitch circle, etc. Now let's see briefly the various nomenclatures or terminologies of the spur gear. First nomenclature is pitch circle. The circumference of the imaginary rolling cylinder, cone, etc. that the tooth gear may be considered to replace. The diameter of circle is said to be pitch circle diameter. Next, our pitch circle can be in another way we can define as it is the imaginary circle which is drawn from in between the addendum and dedundum, or it is the center circle which is imaginary. Another point is addendum circle, a circle bounding the outer ends of the teeth in a right section of the gear. Here we can see the outer section, this outer section of the gear which is in the arc is the addendum circle, which boundates the circumference of the teeth. Next is the dedundum circle, or sometimes it is called as root circle. The circle bounding the inner edge between the teeth in a right section of a gear is called as root circle or dedundum circle. The circle which is drawn at the base or at the root of the teeth is called as dedundum circle. Next nomenclature is addendum. The radial distance between the pitch circle and the addendum circle is called as addendum. Here we can see the distance between the pitch circle and the outer circle or outside circle is called as addendum. Next nomenclature is dedundum. The radial distance between the pitch circle and the root circle is called as dedundum. The dedundum is the distance between the root circle and the pitch circle. It is the distance below the pitch circle, and the upper distance is addendum. Another nomenclature is clearance. The difference between the dedundum of one gear and the addendum of mating gear is called as clearance. Here clearance is the distance which is distance between the two gears when they are mating. The gap between the teeth face and the root circle is nothing but the clearance. Next nomenclature is face of the tooth. That part of the tooth surface lying outside the pitch surface is called as face of the tooth. In figure, we can see the face of the tooth is shown as pointer, as pointed by this red color. Another nomenclature is flank of the tooth. It is the part of the tooth surface lying inside the pitch surface or below the face tooth. Next nomenclature is circular thickness. It is also called as tooth thickness. The thickness of the tooth measured on the pitch circle. It is the length of the arc and not the length of the straight line. Let's see in the figure. Let's see in figure, the distance shown by this pointer is nothing but the tooth thickness. Or in another way, we can say that the starting point of the teeth to the end point of the teeth, the distance is called as tooth thickness, which is in arc manner, not in the straight line manner. Another nomenclature is tooth space, or it is called as pitch diameter. The distance between the adjacent teeth measured on the pitch circle. The distance between the two teeth is nothing but the tooth space. Next is backlash. The difference between the circle thickness of one gear and the tooth space of the mating gear is called as backlash. Next is circular pitch, which is denoted by PC. The width of a tooth and a space measured on the pitch circle, measured between one point of the tooth on a pitch circle to the corresponding tooth point. Let's see in the figure the pitch circle. The starting point of one first teeth to the starting point of next adjacent teeth is the distance called as circular pitch. The circular pitch mathematically given as PC is equal to pi d divided by n, where PC is the pitch circle and n is the number of teeth, d is the pitch diameter. Here diametral pitch is denoted as PD, the number of teeth of a gear unit pitch diameter. The diametral pitch is defined as number of teeth divided by the pitch diameter. In mathematical form, PD or diametral pitch is equal to n upon d. The another nomenclature is module. It is the ratio of pitch circle to the number of teeth. It is the inverse of diametral pitch. The mathematical formula for the module is PD is equal to D upon N. PD is the diametral pitch, that is equal to D upon N. It is the exact reversal formula or opposite formula of the diametral pitch. Another concept is velocity ratio of gear drive. Velocity ratio is the ratio of speed of driven shaft to the driving shaft. Now let's see what is meant by gear train. A gear train is the two or more gear working together by meshing their teeth and turning each other in a system to generate power and speed. We can say that gear train is nothing but the assembly or number of gears that work together to perform a particular work with more power and speed. It reduces the speed and increases the torque and vice versa. The gear trains are used in electric motors with the gear system to reduce the speed and increase the torque. Types of gear trains. The types of gear trains are divided into three types mainly: simple gear train, compound gear train, and planetary gear train. First, we will see simple gear train. The most common type of gear train is the simple gear train. The gear pair connected parallel in shaft, or we can say that the single shaft is used for single gear is called as simple gear train. The teeth of this type can be spur type, helical type, or herringbone type. This picture shows the simple gear train, in which the gear number 1 shows the rotation is in anti-clockwise, while the gear number 2 is rotating in the clockwise. Here in this picture we can see that every gear has separate shaft. There is no gear which is mounted on the single shaft, or we can say two gears are not mounted on the single shaft. Each shaft is separated with single gear. This is called as simple gear train. The gear number 1 rotates in one direction, that of the gear 2 rotates in opposite direction to that of the first gear. In same manner, gear number 3 rotates in opposite direction of the gear number 2, as same as gear number 4. Next type of gear train is compound gear train. For large velocities, compound gear arrangement is preferred. Two or more gears may be mounted on the single axis. In figure, we can see that the gear number 1 is having a single gear on the single shaft, while the gear number 2 and 3 are mounted on single shaft, and gear number 4 is having a single shaft. The gear number 2 and 3 which is mounted on the single shaft, so it is called as compound gear train. Here gear number 1 is rotating in the anti-clockwise direction, while gear number 2 which is meshing with the 1 is rotating in the clockwise direction or opposite to the gear number 1. The gear number 3 is rotating in the same direction as that of the gear number 2, because gear 2 and 3 are mounted on the single shaft. So the rotation of both the gears is in the same direction. The gear number 4 is meshed with the gear number 3. So gear 3 is rotating in the clockwise direction, while gear number 4 is rotating in opposite to the gear number 3 in anti-clockwise direction. Now let's see what is meant by planetary gear train, or it is called as sometime epicyclic gear train. In this train, the blue gear has 6 times diameter of the yellow gear. The size of the red gear is not important because it is just there to reverse the direction of rotation. In this gear system, the yellow gear, which is called as sun gears, is engaged all the 3 red gears. The red gears are also called as the planets simultaneously. All 3 are attached to a plate, the planet carrier, and they engage the inside of the blue gear, which is called as the ring instead of the outside. Because there are 3 red gears instead of 1, this gear train is extremely rugged. Planetary gears set is that they can produce different gear ratio depending on which gear you see as the input, which gear you see as the output, and which one you hold still. They have, or planetary gear train have higher gear ratio. They are popular for automatic transmission in automobiles. They are also used in bicycles for controlling power of pedaling automatically or manually. They are also used for powertrains between the internal combustion engine and electric motors. Okay, these are the short questions which are important in this chapter. What is meant by power transmission? Why gear drives are called as positive drivens? What is meant by backlash gear? What are the types of gears available? These questions we have discussed its answer previously. These are the brief questions which can be asked in the exams. Thank you.